This in 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
About 20 years ago, 23 years ago maybe or something. And also, what was the name of the young lad who helped us do the treehouse, John? The one who played double bass? Was it Ben or no?
The doctor's son, Price.
Sorry?
Price.
Yeah, what was his first
His
name?
surname is
Robert,
Price.
Was it Robert? No, Paul? No. Anyway, never mind. He
Simon?
No, not Simon. Not Simon or Ben. There's another one. He played double bass. Anyway, it's not important. Anyway, it was
Right.
me and Pippa and this friendly lad. And John said there's some building work being done down at the other side of Prestbury, and I want us to go down the scout down there for good timber and bricks. So he said, "Okay, Chris, get the Passat ready with the roof rack on and plenty of window sash cord for tying stuff down. Because it's really good. It's a wonderful lashing rope. And I'll join you. I'm just having my breakfast." So we were all assembled there.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No. It was about 10 o'clock. It was a bright sunny day, but dewy. There was quite a lot of dew around. And John came out. We were all ready for him, and he came out eating his cereal. Anyway, he hopped in the car. We drove down to the other side of Prestbury, where the building site was. We got out. And as we walked away from the car, I looked at the car, and John's cereal bowl was stuck to the car. The dew had stuck it on. I said, John, you'll never believe what? We've just driven all the way down with your cereal bowl on top. Anyway, it's capping off. He walked over and he picked the cereal bowl up, and then he carried eating it. He walked onto the building site, eating his breakfast cereal.
Very good.
Oh, things have not changed.
Do you remember that, John?
Do you remember that, Daddy?
No, I don't.
Pippa
But I
remembers it.
also remember, I was always putting stuff on the car and then
Driving
driving off and then going up and down the high street looking for my glasses once.
Because you left them on the top. Yeah.
I've driven over them. But
Oh, that's a great
But
story.
whatever the chap who was doing the demolition thought when this man appeared eating a bowl of cornflakes or muesli rather.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
and I think that was Lucy's husband down. You remember?
Yeah.
Lucy
Well,
Kennett.
down. I know. Yes. Yeah. That's Lucy Kennett. There was.
And all that timber formed the floorboards. Of
Yeah,
the,
some of it. Yeah,
Just the one trip?
there must have been more, mustn't there?
Must
I'm
have
sure
been.
there was at least two.
We dragged the planks up the road, didn't we?
Well, that's when when we chainsawed those two enormous trees
that's
down.
nothing to do with
It was an enormous tree
The two
into the
pine
road.
trees.
Yeah,
that's
And
it.
then we had assembled
We
all
hauled
the
the
troops
tug of
to
war.
put this huge great tree on a trolley, and all of us pulled it up the
That's
lane,
right, yeah.
around the garden, and they're still there, holding the tree house. Enormous tree. I mean, look, I've got
I
photographs.
thought I heard it had all collapsed or something. Is there some left?
Well, it's not very good
no,
condition now.
no,
and,
yeah, but the uprights are
I
still
want
there.
your magical touch on it, Chris.
It's
you were
just
younger.
disappeared,
I've
hasn't
got
it?
one.
There's no
I'm too old
tree
now.
house
No,
there.
it's down there around the corner.
Oh,
it
is
is. It is still there.
Oh.
It-
I
you
want
just
to
can't
say
see it.
something about Chris because he translated my vision into the treehouse, and it was. I think I've had more fun from it for myself than anybody else, all the children combined. Because really, it's my treehouse from when I'm young, and I didn't have one anyway.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah,
So
it was a pleasure working with you.
Marion, have you a story to tell?
No, I haven't. Probably if I dug deep into my brain, but there's not much brain there now.
What about from the nursery, Marion?
Yes, I
we're all
know.
behind the till or something, or
Oh golly.
Joanne
All
there?
the labels that you stuck on the till to remind you what they were all functions were.
All right, well, that's more
Made
like,
it even more
that's
complicated.
more like your John than me.
I always thought it was you that you couldn't remember which button was which,
Quite likely, yeah, quite likely.
Yeah. and
I'm
the
still
till was
sticking
covered.
labels all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, sticky labels.
Yeah.
That sounds much more like Daddy.
Yeah, I think.
So,
it-
you know, yes.
Yeah, I think
I,
you
I,
will.
I'm more than your John.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we had to remember that think things you could eat, like vegetable seeds, didn't have any VAT on them. Or something silly like that, I can't remember now.
Yes.
Ben, how do you know John? When did you first
I used to sell him plants.
meet John?
You just said
Ben-
sold Daddy plants.
Ben does have another story because to do with your brother Julian.
My eldest brother was at school with him.
Oh,
Shall I tell your story for you?
yes. Go on then.
Oh, the story is that Julian, the elder brother Julian, came into the nursery, I'm not sure, with Ben and recognised me because, Ben had met me before with my name of John Anton-Smith. And when Julian said, "That's John Smith behind the counter," Ben didn't know it was me, but of course I changed my name when I was 18.
Yes, you went
From,
posh, didn't
I
you?
went from John Anton-Smith to John Anton-Smith.
John Smith to John Anderson.
You were John Smith.
I was John Anton-Smith without
Without
a
a
hyphen.
Oh,
So my name actually always was John Anton.
News for Caroline.
I didn't know that, Daddy.
And
I've just learned something. See, this is why it's important. I'm learning things.
You would be Caroline Smith.
you would have been Caroline Smith. How would you like that? You
Caroline Isabel Smith.
wouldn't, you wouldn't have liked
Perfectly
it.
decent name.
Anyway, my father persuaded me, not much persuading, I did whatever he told me, and I was very grateful for him doing that, because it ends endless complication with your bank accounts and anybody, because there's no other Anton-Smiths around.
That's true.
So there we are.
So did Ben sell plants to the nursery, Daddy? Is that what he was a supplier for the
I
garden
think-
centre?
Yes, of course.
Okay, right. Okay.
And then when Ben used to come round in the evening to deliver his plants, we always went to the ice cream cabinet and we had a cornetto each every single time.
How often would
I
that be?
don't
Weekly?
remember that.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Was that weekly, John, or monthly?
Well, during the season. it was
Daily,
quite
I
frequent.
guess.
in the season, yeah.
But you went to... Which school did you go with my brother?
There's a prep school in Cheltenham called Glengarth,
Yeah, that's
which
it.
is now a block owned by the Ladies' College. And I've always meant to go in there and say, can I see the classroom where I sat? But, or whatever.
It's probably divided up into small
I want to go
cubicles.
into the headmaster's study where I was bent over the table and given a whack
Oh,
Were you?
with a slipper.
were you?
I don't remember you telling me that.
Well, I didn't because I don't even remember what it was for.
Oh, well.
Ingrid, when did you first know John?
Heavens.
Because of it.
It must have been when we moved to Cheltenham, which was in
76.
1976. In fact, I remember it was the 17th of September. And I said to my then small son, we will be going to Quaker meeting and you will meet lots of little children there. And so we set off to the Quaker meeting the first time, only to find they'd closed up and gone home because they started that much earlier. So we went the next week and there were no children, so his face fell.
Yeah.
Dear.
But I went round saying, have you got children? Please bring them because this boy will be coming every Sunday. And I think it was the second time I went there that I opened my eyes at the end and looked straight at Anton-Smith, who was a year ahead of me at school. And
You
had
recognise-
already been invited to lunch on the first occasion by the hospitable Dawlings, an ex-retired surgeon and his wife, whom I had met years and years ago, so they didn't remember that until I told them. And I think Anne invited us back home almost immediately, and of course therefore I met John, Caroline, who was about 12 at the time, and I think probably Mark and David would have been home for Sunday lunch. So I met the family, and very hospitable folk, and Anne and I sort of really hit it off because we had the time to see each other, so she became like a sister to me, and Margaret was away in darkest Africa. So we used to send things to her around Christmas time. And so it went on until I got ME and had to sort of be a little bit less sociable. And then Anne died. But by this time, having been very much invited into the family, so we were even invited for Christmas and things like that, where I disgraced myself, I seem to remember going under the table, which made most people think I was considerably drunk, but I wasn't drunk at all.
I don't remember this.
But it was such good company.
What, the feet?
And I remember
The feet!
tweak somebody's legs or so, and people had forgotten there wasn't a dog, so they was wondering. So it was that kind of relaxed, open house, lots of people coming and going. So that I and my son Gareth, my husband died a little bit after our sort of coming to Prestbury, have been very grateful. But I think the thing I particularly remember was that John always liked to help people, only he used to do it without any sense of time, and he would love it if helping was anything to do with plants and gardens. But that meant that very frequently Anne would ring up and say, "Ingrid, is John with you?" And I would say, no, I haven't seen him, Anne. And she would say, "Well, I'll have to ring around his other ladies." So that might have been Dozy Thurstfield. It might have been one or two others. I didn't know the full extent. But he later explained that while he didn't have many men friends, that he always found women so much easier to get on with because they weren't showing off to each other and bullying and other things he must have come across at school. All I remember was that John always liked helping people and forgot the time. Sometimes he was there when Anne rang, so I would say, "Yes,
Send him home.
would you like to speak?" And she would say, "No, just tell him that lunch is going on." But the other interesting thing was that he was passionate about plants, but when he was helping you to do something with a particular plant or prune it, which he did very badly, or put a plant in the soil extremely fast, he would trample on all the other plants, quite oblivious to trampling on them, in order to get on with the one that mattered. And I found this completely fascinating.
Yeah.
And so things went on and on.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ingrid. That's a lovely story.
I must make some comment on this.
Oh, really? Your defence.
No, other than to observe that, of course, I've been involved in plant groups, you know, and all that kind of thing. And it's my observation that women are, by a factor of 5 or 10, outnumber men as interested in plants. So if you want to have plant conversation, it nearly always
It's
with
women, that's true,
a
actually.
woman.
Yeah.
The number of men who are interested is, if they are, they're interested in vegetables or something else.
I should say one little rider though, you were always saying, "I have no friends." And he didn't have many men friends.
Men friends, yeah.
But-
Apart from Ben.
But there was Ben,
It's
there
going
was
away
John,
to school, that's the
Marion's
problem.
other half, and there were countless people whom he was always ringing up and having calls from. So there was Dougie with his problems, who would ring up once a week, and John would say,
Once
"Hello,
a day.
Dougie, I've got someone here, can I ring you back later?" And then when I went to the United Nations, John had got in touch with another friend working in the United Nations HQ, and he was sending me relays of a famous Jonathan Shell's The Fate of the Earth. So those were sent courtesy of your friend in the United Nations. And then I also had to meet another one. And all I know is that John has kept up with loads of men friends, so I've never been able to understand
But
They're
the
all spread
thing is-
out all over
Yeah,
the
the thing
world,
is,
unfortunately.
we still get correspondence from a lot of people at Christmas, and they are
all on them.
they are friends from
Past.
all different parts of his life and different journeys, and whether it's But they just don't. They're just not local. So there are lots. But they should, yeah. Pippa, have you got a story? Just a little one.
How did you get to know John?
Through Peter. Peter.
Yeah.
so-
How did that happen?
You don't remember? I asked. You told me you were working here,
Yes.
and I thought I'd like to work with plants. I didn't know very much. So you asked John for me.
And that's when? Back in the
Um,
1990s?
95 or something, wasn't
Something
it?
like that,
And then you
yes.
tell who you met here. Other ladies working here. Libby.
Oh, Libby, of course. Yeah, she's a big part of big part of being here. Libby, yes, I met Libby.
And did you always understand what John asked you to do?
No. I think it was the second day, and I hadn't really worked with plants, and the hellebores the seeds were popping, and I had to tie little bits of nylon stockings over them.
Yes. Look at Regina's face.
And I was
I haven't asked you to do that, have I?
Well, she knows similar things.
Woolen bows on things.
Yes.
Yeah, no, people finish.
Yeah.
And Pippa, can I just ask you one question before I forget? Have you still got some jobs to do that aren't priority?
Oh, Daddy.
when I came, I learned. It developed. I've learned a huge amount, and it led me to do a course at Pershaw, so
Yeah.
I owe a lot to John.
Yeah, you've learnt a lot. Yeah, well, fair,
Yes.
and we all, yeah.
We've all got a lot
The
to
same
thank John
year,
for.
we were getting ready for an open garden, and you asked if I knew other people. And for some very lucky reason, I seem to have a lot of friends that were
Yeah, we had-
available and were
We had
interested.
huge amounts here, didn't we? And it was
Carol
very
for one.
jolly. Everybody was having
Yeah.
tea
John and
in
Dave.
the orchard there. There would be
Maggie and
Yep.
Mary,
loads of people.
John and Dave,
John and Dave,
Stella,
Stella.
Oh, Stella.
Mary Fitzgerald, maybe.
Wasn't there one helper I didn't actually like cutting plants because she felt for them?
Just sounds like Kimiko.
Does sound like Kimiko, yeah.
Yes, there was a Japanese lady who was, I think she'd worked full time for 5 years or something. Was that it? Or did it just go by?
It was quite a few years.
And
yeah.
Took over
she
Libby.
really couldn't kill a snail. and Kimiko.
That's right. I remember.
And then Chris found her talking to
Was she-
the crayfish in the stream.
No,
Different Chris.
Oh.
The other
Chris Dent.
No, this Chris.
Was it this Chris? Are you sure it was this Chris?
No, I remember her
No, you told me.
talking to a baby newt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a baby. Oh, well, it's not a crayfish, it's a newt. Oh, so it was you. It wasn't a crayfish, it was a newt.
She had a pet newt, which she was convinced understood.
Her
She
Japanese.
thought she could interact with it, and that it was waving to her.
Oh my God. And I'm afraid that didn't encourage me too much.
John, how did you meet me?
She's made a little.
How do I meet you?
How did you?
Because Peter has an older brother who was a tenant of mine, and some work needed doing on the house, and I went over to see the work being done, and then said I wanted a fence made, and your brother suggested, well, I've got a brother who can put up a fence, and that was you.
Oh,
There we are.
lovely.
About getting on for 30 years ago.
And then from Peter, met Pippa, and then from Pippa I met Chris, and then that was, I've always told everybody, because Anne died during that period, and for quite a large period afterwards, you might say, because all the children had gone, family life kept on with you and Chris and the various friends that were around, and the family sort of continued for a bit. And that was a very nice transition until I was able to carry on my own, you might say.
Would you like to mention, Chris, while Peter's presumably recording it all, about the works outing we had? That was a wonderful day, which John arranged and paid for and organised. Was it a minibus or something?
A big bus.
And we went all the way to
Windsor Great Park.
Windsor Great Park, and and I was included, even though I wasn't working in the garden. It was a most wonderful day. You can remember visiting us.
I'm afraid all I can remember is the coach trip. I can't remember. I
Hello.
can't remember anything about
But it
when
was
we
just
got
a
there.
mass of azaleas. I've never seen such a thing.
And with
Mooning
grass
out, but
pathways, quite wide grass
Yeah, I think so.
pathways.
People, I think, I'll try and get the photographs out for you, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there was the
Sheila Byers came as well,
Yes.
didn't she? Yeah.
and then the
yeah.
Christmas outings.
Oh yeah, the Christmas sightings every year.
That
We
went
John
on.
and
Really,
all his employees
Amazing.
for Christmas sightings.
Where was I?
I don't know, you must have been, it was a
Frampton
time when
Manor.
But
you
there, of
didn't
course, there were
seem to
two
be-
Framptons. So
don't know where you
There was a
originally-
period that I
It
wasn't
was
working for
originally, I
John.
think, going to be Frampton on 7. but
There was a
we
period that
discovered
I
this
wasn't
rather
working
than
for John. I don't
Frampton
remember.
Mansell.
Was this
Yeah.
after you,
So we ended up going to
John?
Frampton
Was this
Mansell.
after
And
you
it became a
finished
regular
being
thing.
involved at
John would wear his,
PNG?
Yes, I mean,
Scottish
all this
wig,
happened
Tam
much
O'Shanter,
later.
with the fake
Because
red
this is
hair.
all news to me. I think
Yeah,
that's
well,
lovely.
you might have wondered what I did, but of course the garden
That's
had
it.
been abandoned,
Very, very
Yes.
festive.
and it was a chance for me to get
And Adrian would say,
a grip of
what was
it.
it? What was it?
Yes.
And I put the tunnel up, and then very soon I
gravy with my
started
fish.
employing
gravy.
people.
I
He wanted
see.
gravy.
You didn't want gravy with
So
Well, you don't normally
Yeah.
have gravy.
It sounds absolutely wonderful. It was like a little business going on
well,
up
it
here.
was a little business because the amount of plants I sold paid for the people to come and keep the garden tidy.
Ah.
And there was the breeding programme, which was always
Oh.
Plant breeding, yes.
Oh, I know erodiums you were keen on.
I
Molly
am
Tubbs used
still
to be
am. Well,
incredibly
not
well
so much.
organised with Libby. Yeah.
She used to go all over
So
the
you
country,
used to have
didn't you?
Christmas
Dorothy used to
outings.
go off with you and help.
Well, when we went to plant sales to
Plants,
sell,
rare
to
plant
sell,
sales.
sell
Very
plants,
sweet
yeah.
looking.
And you went to that lovely place, is it Chavanage
Are you okay?
Manor, which is full of
Yeah.
arts and crafts.
He's very concerned
I
about
don't
it.
think I went and did plant staring, but I have been to
We
lots
did
of
do
other.
Hynum. I remember
did
doing
something
Hynum in
there.
Cirencester.
John, you don't need to mention any names, but did you employ anybody that you regretted employing? Because we're talking about a good 50 odd years, aren't we? 60 years.
Recording this, aren't you?
This is blueberries.
John's
So I feel a
thinking,
bit sorry for anyone who gets mentioned now because they'll be captured on
Well,
come on, a little story.
I did employ one lady
Well, we hope not. It could
Listen,
happen.
who
listen to us.
thought part of the job description was to chase me around the house. She helped clean as well and wanted to kiss me upstairs, and I really wasn't up for that.
Who was that, John?
Daddy, I'm right here.
Nameless.
You should name names.
Did
No.
you sack her on the spot?
No, I didn't. I did wonder how I would part with her.
Gosh, this is all very intriguing.
It was done very amicably, thank God. I can't really sack anybody. But
Was this while Anne was alive?
no, this is
Not so long ago.
Week.
Right, Daddy's going to open his cards now.
So John, tell
One
us.
other thing, Peter, which he hasn't touched on modestly, and others haven't. And,
Thank you.
and one of the items, some of us can see from here. It's the dragon on the roof. And John actually loved doing ceramics at the Guild House in Stanton. You need to go some way around. It's a finial, but it got turned around by someone doing some roof repairs. And so he did a lot of ceramic work.
honestly.
And also,
Such taste, Marion.
he used to go and do darkroom studies of his ancestry and turning small old photographs into big blown up ones. And he told me about that, so I went to do something very similar with my late mother's photos. So he was very creative. And on the stone shed over there, there are several coloured, glazed, interesting tiles inserted amongst others. And he's made pots which he gave away to friends, huge ones, lovely ones. Yeah.
Oh, well, you've seen that one, that's yours.
Now, John's opening his cards.
Of armies and
So shall we see the cards, Caroline?
Well, they're being passed round. So this one's from Ben, and I love the greenhouse. Look at that. It reminds me of the greenhouse at the top of the garden.
You know, all the
Oh,
paint-
it's
all
lovely.
the panes are in it.
And Marion, can I just borrow this one a second? And this one's from all the yoga people. So Brenda, who was here earlier, and they've everybody.
Can you call
signed-
out the names then, Caroline?
Sally, Carol, Sarah, Brenda, Lillian, Carolyn, Joe, and Maureen. So those are all the yoga people. And Marion's one is just going around. It's a lovely, lovely one, and her children signed that one as well. That's a lot. I love that card. I know the one you gave us.
Oh, it's so
Oh, this one, Muddy Boots.
Oh,
That
nice.
is such a cool card.
Yeah.
Daddy, is that you? I don't think-
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
me.
Could be him.
Oh, that's a fantastic card.
just, yeah.
Very good.
Is that from Chris? Who's it from?
Pippa,
Oh,
Caroline,
That's
who's it
Chris.
from?
Chris, I think,
just,
yeah.
just what I wanted.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
Oh, what is it, Daddy?
you don't know we've got bees now. So
Oh,
before you
look,
go,
a little bee
we'll go.
house.
yeah, at
Oh,
the
that's
end.
very cute. That.
Very end.
And who's that from?
Don't get too close.
Oh,
No, we've got-
there's a small.
That's from Pippa.
We've got
Beehive.
5 hives
Oh, you got
at the top.
Wow,
Which
who
were,
looks
they're
after
new.
them?
They're
We're
new.
not, we're not looking after.
We're not looking after them. Somebody's looking after them, but we've got to be quite careful because for a long, long time we've been able to go up there and it's been fine. And the person who's helping Daddy at the moment, called Malcolm, he was up there, you know, 5 meters away, and they swarmed on him. And he was there a week before, and they paid no attention to him because he was strumming. So just be really careful. Obviously they were sending messages to each other. They were doing something protective. So he got stung on his face. Yeah, he did. No, he's fine. But he just, if you do go and look at the bees, you know, you never know what they're up to.
Can John tell us what he's just opened?
It's a little beehive.
A little beehive.
Bee home.
Be home.
Who
Beehive.
gave you that, John?
That's, I think that's from Chris.
Pippa.
It's from Pippa.
Pippa,
It's
yeah.
Pippa, entirely Pippa. She
Oh,
discovered
it's
it.
a
and-
lovely thing. Oh, here's another one, Daddy.
This is a very pristine.
it is.
Show me the card. Ingrid, show me the card.
I think this is a card as well. It's all wrapped up in there.
And Regina. Oh, beautiful.
Pippa.
Who's that from?
From Joe, Matt and family and Marion.
Oh, it's all the bees. British bees. Oh, have a look at that.
Well, no, someone a bit honey.
This
Yeah,
is a
got
British
voice
bees
contact.
card.
Mm,
Isn't that lovely?
from?
So there's a bee theme going on.
The card
Is that from Pippa as well?
So lovely.
tails.
Who's that from, Caroline?
It's from Pippa and Chris.
Of that one out there.
Chris has got a lovely one. That's a lovely.
I meant
lovely
to
one.
sign the other one from Pippa as well.
Regina, when you get those cards, show them
That's
to me.
very good. Here we are, Daddy. Oh, and this is. Oh, hold on. There's one.
Know how to identify.
The best kept
They never
alive.
stay still long enough, do they? That's a lovely card. I find that. No.
Regina, thank you very much.
Have you read the message? It's so beautiful.
Did you paint it?
No, someone else. I met the painter.
You met the painter.
Yeah, it's an original. So
The greenhouse with the poem coming out of it, which was about
Oh,
greenhouse
it's a
gases
lovely
and
message.
environmental
I like the color because the energy, lots
The
of
energy,
That's
yes,
what you
yes.
need.
in situ.
So you met, you knew the person who made that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
It was in Scotland.
Scotland.
So the little embryo.
Oh, that's a
sitting
lovely card. So
inside
the beautiful.
back
It's from
and then there
Caroline
was a
Hone
big
did this, and she said she bought it from the doctors.
Oh, beautiful.
space.
I know, Scottish.
Trees.
But this is
other
from
things
Ingrid.
on the stage,
There's a
but
card in there.
I had
there's a
taken
card
a
inside.
picture when it looked a little bit more,
Pippa.
Chris?
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
and it came in
Oh,
very
lovely
handy.
chocolate.
Oh,
But this is very nice.
not after 8.
No. What a beautiful. Just show the envelope.
And who's that from,
One
Regina?
of Daddy's favourites
Benedict
is coming
and
out.
Janine.
Bees and.
Jenny.
What's your other favourite thing, Daddy?
Oh, yeah.
Butterfly.
Oh,
They're all appropriate, aren't they?
beautiful. That's lovely.
Who's that from,
This is
Caroline?
Ingrid with a beautiful card. As
Oh,
looking
Oh,
at-
Ingrid, gosh, how wonderful.
Oh,
Did you ever teach calligraphy,
oh,
Ingrid?
it's so beautiful. That is so lovely.
Never get
I've-
into it.
I've kept all Ingrid's writing from years and years ago
Yeah.
because one, day she'll be very famous, and then I'll make a killing with all the paintings I've got belonging
Did you hear
to
that,
her,
Ingrid?
and I'll be able to sell them at Christmas for an enormous amount of money.
Really good.
That's the hope.
Oh, wonderful. The boots. Muddy boots. Let's have a look, Regina. I haven't got it yet. Oh, yes,
the
there's it.
wheelbarrow.
Who's that?
Actually, it's not like John. John is
No.
on his boots.
Clogs. Which, who sent that?
No, John wouldn't.
Chris.
John would be reading a book if he was lying in a wheelbarrow.
Yes, he would.
wouldn't
Well,
just-
that's absolutely
he wouldn't-
true.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
just lie
He
like
wouldn't
that.
just lie like that, no.
No.
That's not John.
That's,
No.
What you've written, Ingrid, can that be read out to
Pass it
us?
round.
What you've written, can it be read out to us?
I don't know.
You decide. No?
No.
I've kept one of Ingrid's doodles from years ago, because if you ever go in her house, you'll find doodles on bits of old newspaper, backs of envelopes, and then she'll always insist on throwing them away, and I have to dig them out of the waste paper basket because I'm very conscious I'm going to make a fortune. One of my favourite ones is
the
Ingrid
yoga group.
has chosen to draw me like Superman with my underpants on flying through the air. Which I should be able
All
to
the
find now and
people
show you where I can find it.
You should put it on the internet, John.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Maybe I'm clutching a trowel, you know,
Yeah.
Oh,
with a cape on.
a red cape.
Marion, would you like to read what Ingrid's written?
Oh golly, there's an awful lot of reading
I
to
didn't know this was going to be for
This is
public
from
consumption.
Pippa.
Or maybe not then.
No,
Well, there's a lot there.
Anyway, let's go and look at the bees. Anybody want to come and see the
Don't
bees?
get too
It's
close.
a bit dangerous.
Daddy, I would just be a
We'll
bit
swarm.
careful.
We're going to
That
swarm.
would, that might put.
Daddy, I
looked at
We'll
I
this
swarm
just, I
them.
haven't checked them
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
I was
we'll
gonna
swarm
go and
the
check.
bees.
It's just
Get our
that
own
it's
back.
unusual. And I would hate anybody to get stung. I really would not be great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have a bit of pop now.
We're going to have
But we can have pop
A
and
bit of pop.
would,
We're going to do
they might like some more cake, Caroline. First, ask.
Anybody would like more cake?
Because there's a piece of cake with the bubbly.
Oh,
Oh, yes, of course.
well, okay. Do you want your plates back?
Yes, I think so. Well, thank you, everybody.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll
Clearing up mode.
It was in Scotland. We were on an art trip.
thank you, John.
It's already, she had
Shall we just sing happy birthday to John? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much for all coming.
Speech.
You've been very kind about your memories. Chris, I like the one. I like the one about my breakfast on the car.
Well, I mean, I've actually got lots of memories of all the different things you taught us about plants, really. Because, I mean, planting that crab apple, you know, I did my mix of grow board just like you showed me.
Yes.
I opened up the hole with the some
Well,
bulb at the
it
bottom.
looks like a
And,
landscape,
you know,
but seen in a
covered
very
that
free
with
way.
using the right tools for the job.
All pernickety.
Using the right tools for the job, freeze the roof all off very gently, coax the roof all over. But now it's got some little green caterpillars that have appeared.
Oh, crikey.
And I've been squashing them individually.
I think that's the way to do it.
Probably it's going to be on your way out.
Oh, the elderflower, so it's
Yeah, I'm very protective.
Who's that
It's like
from?
having a
Pippa.
pet in the
Oh,
garden.
no, British bees.
no.
I
We will